Well, hello, it's John Byrne with Poets and Quants. We have a center court session here on a terrific program, a master's in management at the Kelley School of Business at Indiana University. And to talk about this program and give us the nitty-gritty, we have two great folks, Daniel Ritchie, who's Director of Graduate Management Programs, and Paige Davis, who is a student who will be graduating from the program in 2025. So Danielle, why don't you start us off with giving us a brief description of the program? You know, the Master's in Management is actually the predominant graduate degree in business in Europe.
hmm
It's relatively new in the US. More schools are offering this degree. It's typically a pre-experience degree, meaning that applicants do not have to have work experience to do it. But you give us the lowdown on your MS in management.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for having Paige and I here today, John. We're excited to talk about the MS in Management program at the Kelley School of Business. This is our inaugural year. We launched in fall 2024, and this program was designed for candidates with 0 to 3 years of work experience. Yes, it's been predominantly popular in Europe, and it's picked up a lot of interest in the US in the past 5 to 7 years, with a lot of the top 20 programs or business schools adopting the MSM program. Specific to our MS in Management program, it's designed for candidates with business or non-business academic degrees. It complements their undergraduate education, but also provides more of that well-rounded foundation in business fundamentals. And so that's something that we are really focusing on and giving people a more robust skill set that they can complement. So maybe their background was um, chemistry and they learn the business side of things. That is a true complement and partnership with both their undergrad and master's degree.
Right. Now, if you had to say what differentiates this program from some of the other management programs, what would you say?
Yeah, well, Bloomington, Indiana is a key differentiator.
Indeed.
Being in Bloomington, close to Indianapolis, close to Chicago, that is something we use as a resource for our program. In addition to that, I think that our career services has been a huge differentiator for the Kelley School of Business. It was ranked number 4 in the world by Financial Times. And so I think by giving our candidates the opportunity to get important skill sets from not only the academic classroom, but also from our career coaches, is going to help our students identify, pursue, and excel in careers that best suit their skills and aspirations. We also have Globase, which was predominantly our full-time MBA program, but Globase is Global Business and Social Enterprise, and it has served over 50 different business and nonprofit clients across Latin America, Asia, Africa, and Europe. And so students are able to be a part of this international consulting project. It helps build their resume. It gives them an opportunity for talking points with recruiters, and real life experience. So I think those few things are some of our key differentiators in the program.
In fact, you have two practicums that are basically experiential courses, right?
Yeah, so we have two practicums, one in the fall and one in the spring that our students have to complete, and they are working with real companies. We actually have a site visit to our first company uh, in 2 weeks in Indianapolis. So we're really excited about that.
Cool. So, you are a neuroscience major from Michigan, Paige.
Yes.
Why did you decide to get this degree? And like, kind of bring us through your thought process on it.
Yes. So as a neuroscience undergrad, I was very heavily involved in research. And so what drew me to this degree is research is really important, obviously, in pharmaceutical and medical device companies. And I knew that if I wanted to pursue a medical device or pharmaceutical career, I needed a business background. So that's what first drew me to master's in management in general. I really wanted to be able to work alongside physicians and researchers on the business end. And I knew that this kind of program was going to set me up perfect for that. In terms of MSM in IU Bloomington, like Danielle said, Bloomington is beautiful. Indianapolis, Eli Lilly's there. There's a lot of amazing pharma and medical device companies in Chicago. So there's a lot of great opportunities to network, and also not coming from IU undergrad, I'm expanding my networks. I have Michigan networks, and now I have IU networks. Also, this program, the practicums, I think are really important. I love that this program has a really big emphasis on application to the real world, because I know a lot of us don't have work experience. So kind of having a little bit of that work experience, just even in the program itself, is really crucial and really important. So that's why I really lean towards this degree and this program specifically.
Now, one of your options clearly was to go and get a job, work for 3 years, and then apply for, let's say, an MBA. But
Yes.
you chose not to do that. Did you actually even consider it or not?
I honestly didn't. I knew just in general and what's going on, I knew that finding a job wasn't going to be the easiest, but I also knew that because I wanted to work on the business end of these companies, I knew it was going to be a lot harder for me personally to even join the job market, because just with a science degree and with research background, I didn't have a lot of marketing experience, consulting experience, to really help me get to the positions that I really wanted to get. So that's why.
Yeah, and I should point out that this degree is a degree that makes people job ready.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I was a young person, many companies had, the kinds of programs where you entered them as a newly minted student and you had 6 months to a year to learn stuff before you became productive. Those jobs are by and large gone, and that companies expect their hires to contribute from day one. And what a master's in management does, I think, for many people who don't have business exposure before, it gives you the language of business, it gives you the fundamentals of business, so that in fact, when you do show up and get hired by an organization, you can contribute from day one. Now, tell us a little bit about the learning experience, Paige.
Yes. So in terms of the structure, it's 7 week semesters. And we usually, well, currently we're in 3 electives and the practicum. Prior to this, we were in a core 1 and core 2, so courses that were mandatory to our program. The learning experience has been amazing. It's very project-based course, which is very different for a neuroscience undergrad. I'm very used to exams every 2 weeks, etc. But having a very project-focused course is really amazing, because as I said, with the practicum, for example, it's very applicable to the real world, just like projects. I mean, we're learning skills academically, but also skills that are very intangible and that can work for the work environment, public speaking. When we work with the practicum and the company, we're going to be speaking to that committee itself. So we're going to be able kind of to learn how to communicate to an actual business, not just our peers. So I think that's really important. So the learning experience has been really amazing. A lot of projects, a lot of collaboration, a lot of useful skills are being obtained through this experience that are both tangible and intangible. So it's been wonderful.
And I'm thinking that most of your experiences in this program are team-based. They're very
Yes.
collaborative compared to your undergraduate years. Am I right?
100%. I was very independent in my undergrad degree, definitely sitting alone in the library for hours and doing exams. So very different.
Now, give us a sense for some of the courses that you've taken or are taking right now.
Yes. So a big one that we just finished up is venture business planning. And here we got into team groups and were able to kind of create our own product or service. So I was a part of a team that created a business called Perfect Blooms, which makes pet safe flowers. And my team is actually thinking of expanding this business and actually going forward with it post
Hmm.
the classroom. So that's something really unique and really amazing. That was a brilliant class. I'm also really interested in marketing. So I'm in a marketing class right now. That's been really amazing. We're learning about B2B and B2C. Another amazing class is strategy. I've taken what I would call a boot camp. So it's called X545 here in Kelley. And for undergrads who did not study business, you take finance, accounting, marketing, operations, strategy. And that class itself in its whole, it was definitely a lot of work because it was in a short, I think, 3 week span time. But it was an amazing stepping stone to really understand kind of what I was getting myself into, being prepared and being on that same level as the business undergrads. So
Have you had a favorite course yet of those that you mentioned?
definitely the venture business
I
planning.
knew you
I
were
was
going to
able to
say
tap
that.
into a very creative side, and it was amazing. I love that we're going to continue going on with our project too. So,
Now, Paige, I know you're busy in the program, but beyond the classroom,
yes.
what would you say about living and studying in Bloomington, and how is that?
It's honestly been amazing because of the collaborative nature of the course. Our program specifically, it's small. There's about 27 kids, and we see each other not only every day in the classroom, but every day outside of the classroom. We'll study together, we hang out together. Since I've never been to Bloomington, a lot of people have introduced me to all that Bloomington has to offer, which has been really nice. It honestly feels like a second family, being able to hang out with everyone and kind of being able to feed off each other's energy, both academically and socially. It's been amazing.
That's great. Do you have a favorite professor so far?
I would say my favorite professor is Professor Gildy, Joshua Gildy. He's the marketing professor, and I took his course in that boot camp, and now I'm in his marketing class right now. Since marketing is my favorite, I may be a little biased towards him, but he's been a really amazing professor, and he's also been really helpful with networking opportunities as well, which has been really big.
So, Danielle, this is a 1 year program, right? You would start in the fall, graduate in the spring. Am I correct?
Students will start, if you come from a non-business background, they start in the summer. So it would be a June start for the management foundations. If they're coming in, not having to complete that, then that would be July.
Right.
So 10
And
to
then you
12
would
months.
graduate in May, would it be, or
Yep.
what? Uh-huh.
hmm
That's great. Who do you think the program is best suited for?
Yeah, this is a great question, especially as I think about with my background being heavily in full-time MBA. It's like when I got this opportunity, I'm like, okay, who would benefit from this? And I really think that students that are comfortable with uncertainty and change is really beneficial, but students who are also adaptable, open to new ideas, and willing to learn from diverse perspectives. Paige, for example, is a great example coming from non-business,
Mm.
having that science background. She was probably like, what am I getting myself into? That fear of unknown. But being able to embrace that and having that genuine interest in business and to thrive in dynamic environments, those are the type of candidates that we're looking for this program and who we feel would be successful. And as I mentioned earlier, really looking for candidates that have between 0 to 3 years of work experience, that want to gain those foundational management skills. That way, we can give them the essential soft skills and leadership abilities that will complement their undergraduate degree to be successful in their career search.
And I'm imagining that many of the job opportunities that will come out of this are just slightly below the MBA type of jobs, right?
Yes, it's a little bit different recruiting timeline as well compared to MBA candidates, where in traditional MBA programs, they're 2 years in length. So typically they have a summer internship between year one and year two. With the
Mm.
MS in management degree, it's 1 year. And so timelines are going to be different. Students that are interested in consulting, depending on what type of consulting firm they're looking to go into, or maybe they're looking to go into human resources, they don't have that 2 year timeline to really recruit. So it is hit the ground running and getting into careers in whatever industry or functional area that they're looking to pursue. Maybe it's general management, maybe it's a leadership rotational program, human resources. It truly is a robust degree that allows students to utilize their undergraduate degree and their passion for business.
How many electives are in the program, and can you structure them in a way that you have a concentration of some kind?
So we offer a wide variety of electives that are going to be cross the Kelley MS and MBA portfolio. So it's not just electives that are just for MS and management students. There might be in classes with full-time MBA candidates, maybe students within our MSIS or MS Finance program. And so they get to expand their knowledge and network by being in these electives. We're actually going through spring registration right now with courses. There are different pathways that students can pursue if they're interested in maybe human resources and leadership, or if they're interested in entrepreneurship or consulting. However, it's not a specific concentration that's going to be listed on their transcript or diploma, but they can hone in on that specific area of interest.
I know that Kelly has used very smartly the idea of academies to prepare students for the job market, particularly in the MBA program. And I'm wondering, is there a similar kind of academy in the Master's in Management program?
Yeah, we don't have the same thing as the full-time MBAs in terms of academies for career prep. Our career coaches have pre and pre-management, pre-coursework program to help prepare them, so called PWP. And then we also have professional development that's offered throughout the academic calendar as well. So just a few weeks ago, they had a session on imposter syndrome. Coming in maybe from a non-business background, you're probably thinking, okay, what am I doing here? I'm at Kelley. Might be overwhelming. Why? Everyone has a purpose. You're admitted for a reason. And so we want to make sure that you're confident in going into your job interviews, presentations with a strong skill set. We have one coming up this Friday on StrengthsFinder. So it is constantly ongoing. So again, not a specific
Hmm.
academy, but we do see the importance of offering something every few weeks. We're also bringing in alumni from other programs because we're new. We don't have alumni yet specific to MS and management, but we are bringing in Kelley alumni panels so that they can share their experience in their industry and or functional area since graduating from Kelley within the past 5 years to really educate our MS and management students about opportunities that they could potentially go into.
So, Paige, what surprised you most about the program? Something that maybe you didn't expect?
Um, Something that surprised me the most is just how helpful and like important the career services has been. So coming from a neuroscience background, a lot of people in that path are either pre-med or pre-PhD, and there's not really a lot of emphasis on like careers or your next steps. It's kind of just, okay, you're going to continue academia. And now that I'm in here, there's obviously a heavy focus on careers and everything. And like Danielle said, I definitely have struggled with imposter syndrome and being overwhelmed. And so something that's been really great with this program has been the career services. And it's been really surprising kind of just how amazing it has been and how helpful it has been. And also it's interesting because I've never really had to navigate the job market before too. So being able to have someone to help me navigate the job market, interviews, things like that, recruiting, networking, has been really great.
Yeah, that's good to hear because I actually think that Kelly has among, if not the best, career development staffs in the world in business school. And for all of you out there who may have majored in something else, you know what happens, whether it's an undergraduate degree and it's a graduate degree and it's not in business. You're pretty much on your own in finding a job. In a good business school, the school considers its job not done until you get a job. Totally different attitude and mindset from any other department or college in the university. And it's a big deal to know that you have a team of people dedicated to you to make sure you make the connections that you need to make to land that job right out of school. Now, Paige, I wonder, or have there been key highlights of the program for you so far? Surely the venture class and the idea of creating a company had to be one of them. What else, though?
Another really big key highlight is the practicum. It hasn't started yet, but I just know that that's going to be a really amazing experience, especially the site visit, being able to actually meet the company, getting to know them. I think that's going to prepare a lot of us for the real world. So that's definitely a major highlight that I'm looking forward to. In terms of currently right now, as Danielle said, we're taking a lot of classes with MBAs and the other master's students. And it's been really challenging, but honestly, in the best way possible, because we're expanding our network, but we're also expanding kind of the limits of what we believe we can do. And the
Mm.
professors are really pushing us to that MBA level, to that highest level that we can go in these classes right now. And that's been really amazing because I'm a little bit of a nerd, so I love pushing myself academically. I love working hard and all that stuff. So it's been really great being able to expand my knowledge, expand my network, being able to connect with all these people and take these classes that are extremely interesting, where the professors love what they're doing and they love teaching us. They love talking about us. They also love helping us network and talk about how they can help our careers and how maybe like I had a professor who taught us about AI and technology, and he's like, hey, if you guys are interested in even becoming a professor at some point, please talk to me. And a couple of the students even talked to him about becoming a professor and how he could help them. And so it's just been really amazing having these professors have our backs and being able to expand our horizons. It's been great.
That's great. And that just confirms my belief about the faculty at Kelley and how dedicated they are to the students. And that's another benefit, frankly, of being in a quintessential college town like Bloomington, as you were in Ann Arbor. Um, Faculty are there, they don't run away. They work
Yeah.
hard. They're very connected to the students and very engaged with students and helping them in every possible way. Now, Paige, what's the application process like for this program?
Yes. So there was kind of two ways to do it. There was the way that I did it, which is kind of like the fast track way, where you would do an pre-interview, I called it. And then you would put in your application, and then you do the actual interview with Professor Ash, the head of this program. Or you could do the application itself and then do your interview with Richard Ash. So that was kind of the structure of it. It was really seamless, really easy. I know that sometimes people can get bogged down by spam emails and being really confused, and it's really hard to navigate. Like, okay, where's the programs? I know I struggled with some of the other school applications. I didn't know where to find the MSM program, and then it took me to the MBAs, and it was kind of a mess. So for this, it was very simple, very straightforward. I did two interviews. I did an essay. I did your standard application of my GPA in undergrad, my grades, everything. And they also got back to me relatively quickly within, I would say, 1 to 2 weeks, which was also really good because I applied definitely near the tail end. I would say it was about March when I applied. And I
Mhm.
was already stressed about, oh gosh, living situation and all these other extra things. So being able to apply and have like comfort and confidence that they got back to me really quick, and they're also really helpful with financials and everything. So it was a very seamless, very easy application process. It was definitely not stressful at all, which I very appreciated.
Danielle, do you require a standardized test score for this program?
Potentially, there are waivers that are available for candidates specifically that come from maybe a business academic background. So they can submit their resume and transcript in advance, and we'll review it and let them know if they are exempt from GMAT or GRE. We did simplify the application process this year. So instead of having two interviews, a pre-interview and an actual interview, it's just one application, submit it, and then it'll be a 30-minute behavioral interview that's by invite only to candidates that are applying.
Do you need recommenders for the program?
Yes, two letters of recommendation. We ask that at least one be from a faculty professor that maybe you had in class or your advisor, maybe your student athlete, you can have a coach or your advisor there. If you're involved in extracurriculars, maybe a nonprofit, volunteer work, anybody who can speak to you, your characteristics and why they think that you'd be successful with the MS in management program.
Now, this is the first cohort to go into the program.
Mhm.
And Danielle, I'm wondering what general feedback you're getting from the students who are in some way or another guinea pigs for and an experiment for the very first year. What kind of feedback you're getting in general?
Yeah, we go after constant feedback from the students because we don't know unless they tell us, and we want to continue to grow and make changes that are necessary and not just make changes because we think they should be changed. So, an example is X545. They took a lot of classes in a short amount of time. So, we're actually implementing a change for next year and spreading it out over 4 weeks, and students don't have to be in class from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So that's huge, I think. Paige can, you probably can agree to that. So simple tweaks like that, we're adjusting. Also the core curriculum in terms of the classes that are being offered. Again, that was like drinking from a fire hose, that first semester, especially students that took summer management foundations. They dove right into core classes. And so that month of August was just a lot, and they're already probably mentally exhausted. So we broke that up as well for next year. We take feedback on social events. What do they want to be a part of? We did have a tailgate last month. It seems like it was just yesterday. But social events, we have portfolio events with other MS programs that are coming up, some socials, because we really don't want them to be siloed into just MS management. We heard them loud and clear that they want to be immersed into that environment. And then lastly, one thing that is not just for MS in management, but also for our MS programs is the development of women graduate in business. They wanted to have a voice and an organization. So that was kicked off this year with a student from the MS finance program. And one of our MSM students is a vice president, and we have a couple students on the board. And so hearing them and what they want to do, we have an event tomorrow. All this feedback is incredibly valuable as we look to grow. Because as we both mentioned earlier, the MS in management degree is fairly new to the US. And so we
Yes.
can certainly go by some of the MS programs from Europe, but if we want to make a standout program here in Bloomington, we need to be able to evolve.
Now, Paige, I wonder if you might comment on your classmates. What are they like? How helpful are they? And how's the bonding in the program among all of you?
Yes, so a big help was, of course, as Danielle mentioned, a lot of the events that they've been holding for us has definitely really brought us closer together as a program. Everyone's extremely friendly, extremely nice. I found, honestly, some lifelong friends in this program that I know I'm going to be connected with for infinite time, essentially. We get along really well, whether it's in the classroom or outside of the classroom. We always love to plan events together. We're always down to do the events that Danielle and Professor Ash do, especially because then we also get to spend time, obviously, with Danielle and Professor Ash, which is an amazing time. So I have nothing but always positive things to always say about my classmates. It's been amazing to get together with them, to hang out with them, to make relationships that will last a lifetime. So
Emma
So I
told me
wonder if
that
you
you were
might.
over the other night to do a 2,000 piece puzzle.
yes, me and one of
Really?
my classmates are working on a 2,000 piece cat puzzle. So it's been fun.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if you were able to give some advice to, let's say, someone who's out in the market. They're thinking about doing this degree. What kind of homework should they do to know that it's the right fit, the right thing for them at this time?
I would say the biggest thing is talk to other people. Think about where do you see yourself, whether it's the next year, the next 5 years, and talk to people in that industry. I know I talked to a lot of people in the research world who were PhDs. I've talked to doctors, I've talked to pharma company people, talked to employees in medical devices. I really got a lot of advice and information from those networks that really helped me understand, okay, what do I need in order to pursue what I believe currently I would love to pursue? So that's honestly the biggest advice I can give is ask questions, be curious, talk to people, don't be afraid to reach out to people and your peers and really understand, okay, what is the correct path for me? How do I understand if it's the correct path for me? Instead of like going in it blindly or freaking out and not going into it at all, because this was definitely a little bit of a risk for me because I'd never done business before. And I was definitely concerned, was this the right choice? And I was able to understand that this is the best choice for me, especially with what I want to do because of the conversations and the curiosity that I had. So,
Yeah, that's all great advice. Danielle, would you have some additional words of wisdom to impart on a prospective student?
Yeah, that don't put yourself in a silo and put yourself out of the chance to be in the program. It's really important to be self-aware. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses, but what we're looking for in the application is authenticity. So having those conversations, as Paige said, networking and understanding different industries or functional areas, educating yourself on that, but then also asking questions of the program
Mm,
to make sure that it aligns with your career goals. I think that's all incredibly important to ask for the help. The worst thing someone can say is no, but hopefully everyone will say yes. And so, yeah, I would say definitely reach out to different schools. Not just look at the academics, but look at location, look at finances, look at big picture, and budget accordingly. So things like Globase that we offer, making sure that you calculate that into a budget so that you can be prepared and know what the ROI will be post MSM degree.
right. Now, Paige, do you have an idea of what you would like to do after you get the degree, an industry or a position?
yes. So the ones that I've been networking and applying to are in specifically pharmaceuticals and medical device companies. I'm looking specifically towards roles within the clinical trials. There's a lot of business positions that can project and management, things like that. I can manage the clinical trials. So it gives me that taste of research and business. So those are definitely the positions I've been looking towards within medical device and pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, and that would also leverage your undergraduate degree as well.
Yes.
Yep. So, Danielle, if someone would like to reach out and ask some more questions about the program, learn more about it, um, how can they get in touch either with you or a member of your team?
Yeah, we make it very simple. The email address is msm@iu.edu. They can certainly go to our website, fill out a form as well, but we will be answering email. We also have a lot of upcoming events that are taking place virtually and in person. And we have student ambassadors that are going to be going up on the website soon, and they can reach out to current students and get their perspective.
Will Paige be one of them?
I think so.
I think you're going to get drafted, Paige.
Yes.
Well, Danielle and Paige, thank you so much for a great session. Paige, good luck to you finishing your studies and landing the perfect job.
Thank you.
I have no doubt that Kelley will get you there because the coaches and the career development people are absolutely sensational. And so for all of you out there, if you want to learn more about the program, check out the website. There's a wealth of information on the program there. Wait for those ambassadors to come up. It's a good idea to talk to them. If you can visit the campus, I really would urge you to do so. It's a beautiful place. And you really get a sense for how dynamic and how committed the faculty and staff are to the students at Kelley. Danielle, thank you as well. So for all of you out there, this is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Thanks for watching.